What if I told you that if every billionaire in the world lost every dollar they own today, many of them would become wealthy again? And what if I told you that if many people suddenly become millionaires overnight, they would eventually lose that money? It sounds unbelievable, but there is a reason it happens. And it's not luck, it's not intelligence, it's not who they know. It is something far more powerful. Stay with me until the end of this video because I'm going to reveal the one principle that separates people who create wealth once from people who can create it over and over again, even after losing everything. Once you understand this principle, you will never look at the money the same way again. Let's begin. Most people believe wealth begins with money. It doesn't. Wealth begins with discipline. And until you understand that, you will spend your life chasing money instead of becoming the kind of person who can create it, keep it, and multiply it. We live in a world that celebrates results. Admire expensive houses, luxury cars, designers' clothes, successful businesses, investment portfolios, but very few people pay attention to what came before all those things. They see the harvest, they never see the seeds. And that is exactly why many people spend years chasing wealth but never truly build it. Because they are chasing outcome instead of becoming the person capable of producing outcome. The greatest investment you will ever make isn't buying your first stock. It isn't starting your first business. It isn't purchasing your first property. The greatest investment you will ever make is investing in yourself, because before wealth changes your bank account, it must first change your habits. It must change your thinking. It must change your character, and that is where discipline comes in. But here's the interesting part. There's one mistake almost everyone makes when they think about discipline. It's the reason New Year resolution fails. It's the reason people quit businesses after a few months. Is the reason so many people never reach financial freedom. We'll come back to that in a few minutes. Because once you understand it, discipline becomes much easier to develop. Let me ask you a simple question. Have you ever been excited to start something new? Maybe you wanted to start exercising, read more books, start investing, learn a new skill, launch a business. For the first few days, you were motivated. You couldn't stop talking about it. You watched videos, bought books, made plans, maybe you even told your friends. Then life happened. You became busy. You got tired. The excitement faded. And little by little, you stopped. If that has ever happened to you, you are not alone. It has happened to almost everyone. But here's what separates people who succeed and people who don't. Successful people don't depend on motivation. They depend on discipline. Motivation says, I'll do it when I feel like it. Discipline says, I'll do it whether I feel like it or not. That one difference changes everything. Because motivation is temporary, discipline is dependable. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline shows up every single day. And wealth is built by what you do consistently, not occasionally. So what exactly is discipline? Many people think discipline means punishment. It doesn't. Discipline is choosing what is right over what is easy. It is forcing yourself to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. Discipline is waking up early to learn a valuable skill while others are still asleep. Discipline is reading books while others spend hours scrolling through social media. Discipline is saying no to unnecessary spending because you are building something bigger. Discipline is saving money, even when the amount seems small to matter. Discipline is investing consistently instead of trying to time the perfect moment. Discipline is showing up again and again and again, long after the excitement has disappeared. Most people underestimate the power of small daily decisions, but those small decisions become habits. Those habits shape your character. Your character influences your decision, and your decision determines your future. That is why discipline isn't just something you do. Eventually, it is someone you become. Now, remember what I said at the beginning about wealthy people rebuilding fortunes after losing everything? We are almost there. But before we get to that, there is something even more important you need to understand. Because this next idea explains why money alone has never made anyone permanently wealthy. Now, let's go back to the question I asked at the beginning. Why do some people become wealthy again, even after losing everything? If money were the secret to wealth, that shouldn't happen. If having money automatically made someone wealthy, then every lottery winner would stay rich. But many don't. And that is because there's a difference between having money and knowing how to create wealth. Those are not the same thing. Money can be given, wealth must be built. Think about it. A person can inherit millions of dollars and lose it within a few years. Another person can start with absolutely nothing, build a successful business, lose everything because of a recession, and then build another successful business. What was the difference? It wasn't luck, it wasn't magic, it was the person. Because wealth is first created inside you before it is created around you. Here's one of the biggest misconceptions about money. People often say, if I just had more money, all my problems will disappear. More money can solve some financial problems, but it doesn't solve character problems. If someone is careless with 100,000 naira, they'll probably be careless with 10 million naira. If someone refuses to save when they earn a little, any more doesn't automatically make them a saver. If someone never invests because they are waiting for the perfect time, they'll often keep waiting no matter how much they earn. Money doesn't create discipline. Money reveals whether discipline was already there. That is why you have probably seen people who earn huge salaries, yet they are drowning in debt. And you have also seen people with modest income who quietly build wealth year after year. The difference isn't always income. Very often, it is habits. Here's a question. Imagine I gave two people 50 million naira today. The first person spends without a plan. They buy expensive cars, designers clothes, luxury vacations, the newest gadgets, anything that makes them look wealthy. The second person thinks differently. They invest part of the money, start or grow a business, build multiple streams of income, continue learning, and live below their means. 5 years later, who do you think is more likely to still be wealthy? Exactly, because wealth isn't measured by how much money passes through your hands. It's measured by what you do with that money that passes through your hands. Here is something I want you to remember. Rich people don't simply think differently because they are rich. Many people became rich because they learned to think differently. They ask questions like, how can I increase my value? What skill can I learn? How can I make my money work for me? How can I solve bigger problems? Meanwhile, many people only ask, how can I spend more? Your questions shape your decisions. Your decisions shape your habits. Decisions shape your habits. And your habits shape your future. Now let's return to the idea I mentioned at the beginning. Imagine everywhere this person's money was taken away today. Every billionaire, every millionaire, every successful entrepreneur, every investor. Now imagine all of that wealth was distributed equally among everyone else. For a moment, everyone starts with the same amount. Sounds fair. But here's the fascinating part. Give it enough time, and something remarkable would likely happen. Many of the people who were once wealthy would begin creating wealth again. Why? Because no one took away their discipline. No one took away their knowledge. No one took away their skills. No one took away their experience. No one took away their habits. They still know how to identify opportunities. They still know how to solve problems. They still know how to create value. And value creates wealth. Now think about the opposite. If someone receives wealth without developing the discipline required to manage it, there is a good chance that wealth won't last. Because money may change hands overnight, but discipline takes years to build. And that is why discipline is far more valuable than money. Money can be lost. Discipline stays with you. Money can disappear. Skills remain. Businesses can fail. Character endures. As long as discipline remains, there is always the possibility of rebuilding. But there is one final lesson, and in my opinion, is the most important one. It's the lesson that completely changed the way I think about success, wealth, and even my daily habits. Once you understand it, you will stop waiting for the perfect moment. You will stop depending on motivation, and you will finally understand why discipline is the true beginning of wealth creation. Let's talk about that. Now we have arrived at the lesson I promised you at the beginning. The reason some people build wealth over and over again isn't because they are lucky. It isn't because they know the right people. And it isn't because they have some secrets the rest of the world doesn't know. It's because they became the kind of person who can create wealth. That's the difference. Most people chase money. Successful people build themselves because they understand one simple truth: income can make you rich for a season, character can make you wealthy for a lifetime. Think about a tree. When you see a healthy tree producing fruit, what do you admire? The fruit. But the fruit only exists because of something you can't see: the roots. If the roots are weak, eventually the fruit disappears. The same is of true of wealth. Money is the fruit, discipline is the root. Everyone wants the fruit. Very few people are willing to grow the roots. And that's why lasting wealth is so rare. Maybe you have been waiting for the perfect opportunity, the perfect salary, the perfect business idea, the perfect investment, the perfect economy. But what if your breakthrough doesn't begin with any of those things? What if it begins with a decision you make today? The decision to become disciplined. Because discipline doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It creates progress in imperfect conditions. You don't have to know everything before you start. You don't have to be rich before you begin investing. You don't have to earn millions before you learn how to manage money. You simply have to start small steps every single day. Read one chapter, learn one new skill, save a small amount, invest consistently, improve yourself little by little. Those actions may seem insignificant today, but years from now, you will look back and realize they changed your life. Never underestimate what daily discipline can accomplish over time. If you are watching this and you feel like you are behind in life, don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Your journey is your journey. The goal isn't to become wealthy overnight. The goal is to become the kind of person who can build wealth for the rest of your life. Because when you become that person, no recession can take away your discipline. No failed investment can take away your knowledge. No business setback can take away your character. And no temporary loss can stop you from starting again. That's real wealth. I want to leave you with something I hope you will remember long after this video ends. Discipline is choosing to do the right thing, even when you don't feel like it. It's choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. It's choosing purpose over procrastination. It's choosing consistency over convenience. Because every decision you make today is shaping the person you become tomorrow. And the person you become will determine the wealth you create.
Final thoughts. If all the wealth of the rich were redistributed to the poor, and those who were once poor suddenly become rich, while those who were once wealthy started with nothing, many of the former wealthy would eventually build wealth again. At the same time, many who lacked discipline and a healthy money mindset would gradually lose what they had and return to where they started. Why? Because true wealth is first built in the mind before it is reflected in the bank account. Discipline is the foundation of wealth creation. It is the ability to delay gratification, remain consistent, learn continuously, save diligently, invest wisely, and make sound financial decisions over time. Money may change hands overnight, but without discipline, it rarely stays. Wealth is not merely a matter of what you have, it is a reflection of who you have become. So before you pursue riches, develop the discipline that creates, sustains, and multiplies wealth.
So here is my challenge to you. Starting today, choose one habit that your future self will thank you for. Maybe it's reading for 20 minutes every day. Maybe it's saving a small amount each week. Maybe it's finally learning that skill you have been putting off. Maybe it's creating a budget. Maybe it's making your first investment. Whatever it is, don't wait. Start today. Because tomorrow wealth is built by today's decision. And always remember, discipline is the seed, consistency is the water, time is the harvest, wealth is the result. If this message helped you see wealth differently, subscribe and join me for the next episode of Wealth.